morning, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you today? Well, like I said yesterday, I accidentally deleted the vlog that you were supposed to watch today, and I probably could go redo it, but I hate living in repetition, and it's pretty time consuming, so I don't really want to relive it that quickly, so I'm going to go do something else today. I'm actually going to go borrow a lens from Adam the Woo to make this vlog possible, but I want to show you something that is, well, it's out of this world. It is a architectural masterpiece hidden up in the hills of Hollywood. We're gonna go see the CHEMOSPHERE. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Well, what the heck is going on over here? Where they once had the IT house, now it looks like there's a fair of some sort going on. Let's check it out. Serious vlogger right there, man. Pint-sized carnival. Pint-sliced carnival. Alright. Well, it looks like everybody's getting free ice cream and playing games. And there's one ride, the swings. So I guess, I don't know, Ben & Jerry's is throwing a little carnival over here. Oh, look at that, Cherry Garcia. Jerry would be proud. You know, Jerry actually said at one point he was thinking of retiring and was just going to live off the ice cream money.
I'll ride it, you can film it.
You're going to ride it? Well, Adam's making friends and getting ready to ride the Ben & Jerry swing. Here we go. You know there's sheer terror on his face right now. Sheer terror. They would have this right on Hollywood and Vine, but they do. We have liftoff. Of course, you guys know I'm not a fan of heights, and even though it's not that high, I've never been into these kind of things, like carnival rides and stuff. Never really been my thing. I like the stuff that goes upside down and makes you nauseous, but never really the height stuff. Now he's up there vlogging himself. There we go. That actually looks like a lot of fun. Dude, you look absolutely terrified the entire time.
It started off as nonchalant, and it turned into the horror. And I'm a little too big to strap the seatbelt on. The guy was like, oh no, it's fine. Now I know why there's seatbelts on that thing. Because once it got to the top, I felt like I was going to fly out.
Now you know why I don't ride those kind of things?
On for dear life. I was trying to take a selfie, and I got it kind of.
That's what you get for trusting carnies.
This is how you work out. You gotta do multiple reps here. Ooh, man, my arms get tired.
Oh, tough guy here, huh?
This is half a ton.
You're making it look like it's nothing. Yeah. I decided I'm gonna wait in line for a little bit. Since the line's going actually pretty fast, I want to get one of those Cherry Garcia ice creams to try it out. Yeah, go figure. As much of a Cherry Garcia fan as I am, I've never actually had Cherry Garcia. Also, Jimmy Fallon has his own now? Huh. Alright, we got one. Now they actually invited me over because they wanted to show me they actually are releasing a bunch of new flavors. They actually have some dairy-free and some truffle size. Look at that. Like they said it's the biggest truffles they've ever put. Look at that. Okay, so they're actually gonna let me try one. There's a coffee cold brew here. Oh, they're gonna make me try them. Caramel cheesecake and chocolate malted milk. I think I'm gonna try the cheesecake first. Well, it was amazing. It has a great burst of flavor. I love it. I decided to come in this vintage store because they have a lot of cool stuff. One of them being a John Wayne and Charlie Chaplin mannequin, as well as James Dean over here, Betty Boop. What a great touch for a vintage store. You gotta love it. One of the things I love about this place is one of the few places you can actually buy a top hat. And they have good ones, like good ones. Some brand new, some vintage. You can pretty much get anything here, as you can tell. Not really looking for anything specific, just figured I'd come in and nose around since I was in the neighborhood. I I mean, geez, look at that. That's a freaking Kiss costume up there. Was that Paul Stanley's? And somebody's All-Star shoes. Literally, it has an All-Star tag. I think those maybe Derrick Rose. Oh, that's awesome. It's like Cobra Kai. That jean jacket up there says University of Nebraska Rodeo Association. Awesome. Here's some of the backpacks and bags and everything, and I saw this. I thought this was pretty cool. Oh, that is awesome. Oh, that's crazy. They just have rows and rows of vintage like Mickey Mouse bed sheets and like Disney bed sheets if you're looking for them. That's nuts. And if you need a new Boy Scout shirt, they got you covered. Oh yeah, Polk High. Now what I used to come here for was because they had tons and tons of old basketball and baseball jerseys. You could pretty much find any jersey for any player that ever played. And soccer. And an obscene amount of tie-dye. Classic workaholics. Let's get weird. See, sometimes you have to look because you can make a tie-dye shirt out of anything now, so you never know if you're gonna find a Suffer and Succotash type shirt. Nice assortment. Nice. Is that a horse costume? Sure is. Oh, there's Tigger. Jeez, must have a lot of, a lot of furries in the neighborhood. Oh, it's always good when they have a Cousin Eddie hat. I'm gonna see if I can talk Adam into buying this father and daughter vest. That'd really throw some people for a loop. Princess date night. Oh, now you're talking like some Dennis Hopper, Easy Rider type stuff. Oh boy. Nudie'd be proud of that hat. I can think of a few women that watch my channel that'd probably wear that hat. Oh, nice band uniform. Now we're getting to the fashionable stuff. There we go. Now we're talking that. Stuff like that. Oh, check that out. Jaw Live Bob Marley shirt. Oh yeah, there definitely was. Well, gonna grab some quick lunch here at one of my favorite little eateries. And then I think we're gonna call it a day because I have a date later. Now if you're wondering what I get, I always bypass all their platters and I go straight to the chicken shawarma sandwich. And then I get 2 little pieces of falafel right there.
It's gonna take time.
Very Hollywood. Pretty great mural to look at too. Pantages.
It'll be like 20 minutes.
And that's where my chicken's coming from, right off that. There's my chicken shawarma sandwich and my falafel. So check this out, guys. Does this look familiar to you? I'm guessing it doesn't. If you remember way back when I did a vlog on the Mercall Theater owned by Lon Chaney, over the past week they completely got rid of all the ivy out front, the cage that was here and everything, and they've redone the whole front. Alright, well I just got home and had mail. More screeners. Looks like all the Netflix screeners showed up, and then I ordered this book the day that I did the Parisian Florist. I was reading up trying to find out as much as I could about why Joe DiMaggio maybe canceled that order after 20 years, and I couldn't really find out why specifically, but what I did find was a couple of articles written about this author and him talking about how hard it was to write this book because he was attempting to do it while Joe was still alive, and every time he would try and interview Joe, Joe would go crazy on him. And basically what he ends up saying is a bunch of his friends who refused to talk now all of a sudden will talk, and you find out a lot of crazy stories in this book about Joe. The reason I kind of wanted to read it was because Shelley had told me some kind of secret stuff about Marilyn's marriage to Joe, and I wanted to see if it's in here. But the other reason I wanted to read it also was because they mentioned that a lot of his friends actually say that Joe went out of his way through his whole life to never let anything in his personal life be known by the public. He always wanted to be a very almost boring figure, only known for his baseball career, but there was a whole different side of Joe DiMaggio that nobody knew of, and apparently it is documented in this book. Joe DiMaggio, A Hero's Life. Well, way up there is what we came to see. I actually heard about this when I first moved out here. A friend of mine was bringing me up to a party up in the Hollywood Hills, and he said, we're actually pretty close to the Spaceship House. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, there's a house up here. You can't see it because it's dark, but he said, there's a house that looks like a spaceship on a big pole, like a big needle. And then I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I'm watching the movie Body Double, and I realized that is the house. There, I just put Adam's lens on, so we're gonna get a lot closer view. Now this is actually on a 29-foot high pole that is behind that tree that you see right there, and this is a John Lautner design. Now if you don't know anything about John Lautner, the first thing you need to know is that he is widely considered one of those forefathers of space-age home building, and he was actually a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright. He studied with him for like 6 years in Chicago, and when he went off on his own, he decided to tackle this medium of architectural design where, and you can tell right here, this is a prime example of it, he believed in heavy balance, which that design right there, that house is actually an octagon, and it's, like I said, it's 29 foot high on a pole right in the dead center of it. Isn't that crazy? Now the pole itself is actually 5 feet wide, and part of the reason that he designed it like this was, the reason it's on the pole is because what you can't tell is that what it's built onto is actually a 45-degree hill. And so they had to figure out a way to make it safe for earthquakes or any kind of heavy winds or rains and things like that. And so John Lautner decided to come up with this design, which was basically, you know, like a spaceship on top of a pole. Now I think it's actually like 22,000 feet, the actual design, but since it's built on that 45-degree hill, he actually put one of those funiculars in, which I thought was awesome, because the funicular, if you remember when we went to Angel's Flight or when I was in Budapest, it's one of those trains that just climbs straight up the hill. So behind these trees you can't really see it, but there is actually a funicular going behind there that will take you all the way up to the house. Now it's a little bit difficult to see, but over here you can see there's an addition to the house, and it's kind of like an egg shape. There you can see a much better view of it. Now he actually built this thing in 1960 because there was a family named the Mallon family that bought this property and didn't really know how to situate a house on it, on that 45-degree hill. So they went to Lautner, and Lautner came up with this design, and the family owned the house for about 12, 13 years, and then when they decided to sell it, nobody bought it. It actually sat on the market for like 20 years, I want to say. So now it was purchased. I think maybe it's had a couple of owners, but the very next owners that bought it, it still might be the original people that bought it. They actually published an interview where they said that they felt that it was each person who owns the home's responsibility to keep it in good condition for future generations, because believe it or not, Encyclopedia Britannica at one point called this the most modern house in all the United States. And like I said, it was in the movie Body Double, and even though it looks kind of like the similar idea behind the house in Charlie's Angels, the movie with Drew Barrymore and everybody, it's not. That was just what the house that they used in the movie was based on, was actually based off of this. And they actually have a no trespassing sign in their driveway, so you can't really get too much closer, though I'm gonna see if I can take any of the roads around here that will wrap around and maybe get a little bit on top of that, and maybe I can show you something from a different angle. Now the one thing that I didn't really understand is why it was named the CHEMOSPHERE, because it just seems like a strange name and it kind of comes out of nowhere. And the best explanation I could find was that there was a company who partnered up in the building of this house, and that was part of their name. That's where the chemo came from, and they did part of the ceiling on this house. But it just struck me as kind of strange, because you would think in that instance usually the person who designed the home or the original homeowner would have named the house, but I don't know, maybe they worked out some sort of deal knowing that this would be a historical landmark someday and gave him that kind of name for a discount on the building materials. Who knows? Well, unfortunately, I couldn't find a path to get over top of the house, so I guess that's all we're going to be able to see. Now, actually, what made me think of doing this vlog was, if you remember when I did the John Barrymore dead corpse story over at Errol Flynn's Mulholland Farm, when I was walking around that neighborhood to do that vlog, I actually could see the house from there, and I said, you know what? I gotta go back and do that house pretty soon, so today was our day. Now, if you were wondering, it actually ended up costing them $80,000 to build this thing, and now it's worth, you know, obviously millions of dollars. And if you look closely, you can see the concrete 29-foot high pillar, 5 foot wide in there. Now, this historic house was also used in the movie Tomorrowland right at the very end during the credits, and it was also used in an episode of 1964's Outer Limits. And what I didn't know, that I just did a little bit deeper reading to make sure there was nothing else that I could add to this, was that apparently during that time, I was actually incorrect, there was a second owner in there in between the 1972 original owners of the Mallons and the 1997 owners. There was an owner that lived in there and was actually killed inside the house. And the two people that killed him were actually sentenced to life in prison. So this house has quite a story to it. And one thing you'll notice about it is one of Lautner's other main traits is that he loved to use natural light. That's why there's so much light, or so much panoramic window going around this, is that he believes that adding natural light to your day actually influences your mood for the day. And so he thought that doing that to his homes would actually create happy homes. And apparently at one point there was a plan to build an extra building on the property and open it to the public, and they were going to display some of the artwork or do a little museum to Lautner. But then the family who owned the property thought secondly about it and said that they thought that it was maybe a bad idea because they didn't want anything that would compete or distract away from the actual art of this home. And it's pretty, I guess it's a good thing that they ended up buying the home, because I read that in the time after the man was murdered living here and the Tashin family bought it in 1997, it was mainly just rented out as a party house or for events, and it was pretty much thrashed until they took it over and kind of helped make all the updates and repairs that it would need necessarily. Alright, let's head back. Alright, Michelle, your hat is on its way to you. Oh yeah, he wanted to go again, of course. How about one of these, Shaw? Yeah, he is. He's always busy. Well, good evening, my friends. I hope you guys all enjoyed this vlog. I know it wasn't quite exactly what I planned, but I will go out and do the Doorstay vlog in the future, maybe even a couple of days. I just didn't feel like doing it quite so close to when I did it already, especially after what happened. But I think this turned out to be a pretty good vlog. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I thought it was actually pretty funny in a lot of parts, especially when we went to the carnival. I thought that was a blast. So just wanted to send a big shout out, thank you to Scotty Harbin Burnett, Angela West, Kathy Weiss, and Cherry Carter for all becoming Patreons. And everyone else, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night and goodbye.
If I was a guy, I would try my luck.